guys have been asking for it, so here it is. History and Facts of Journey into Imagination, Part 2. And I just realized when I typed up this script, there wasn't very many facts or anything, except for one that I do find kind of fun though. In the last video, if you can remember back to when you're in your little vehicle and you go into the turntable and it has the dream finder or whatever, and this big balloon or whatever, and it's going around, many people kind of speculate, oh, the dream, like it's the background that's moving and there's just multiple different dream finders or whatever. That's not what it's like. Enter into this big kind of like turntable, and so you and the dream finder move through with it, and like you and your big kind of different like train thing move through with it. In this episode, we will be talking about the demise of Journey into Imagination and what became of it, and not just kind of the actual park in which it's found in. And also, I know that the last video was fairly long, it was like 25 minutes, but I assure you this video won't be as long, I think, and I assume so. So, for those of you who haven't seen part 1 of this video, you should probably go back and check that out, so you don't need me to kind of go through and explain what's going on, so I'll leave a link down below so you can go check that out. So, on October 10th, 1998, Journey into Imagination in Epcot closed its doors. Disney realized that the attraction had been open for 15 years and needed a refurb to keep up with the new technologies. Guests had been waiting and pondering on what Imagineers were doing, which was taking them 15 years to do. So, guests were wondering and pondering on what Imagineers were doing to this attraction, which had its doors closed for about a year. And finally, in 2000, the doors reopened again for the new millennium in Walt Disney World's Epcot, now just named Epcot, not Epcot Center. The only change that guests could see so far was just the change of the title of the attraction. The marquee now read Journey into Your Imagination, emphasis on your, and not Journey into Imagination. So I'll put a picture right here so you can go kind of see the comparison between the marquee. But what lay at the end of the attraction queue is not what guests had expected or what they wanted. And this is the story of Disney's greatest, worst attraction of all time.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Epcot had a vision on what it wanted its park to be. They wanted the park to be a permanent world showcase, which was to showcase the world's innovations in technology and sciences. But with the 21st century around the corner, they realized, oh crap, well, the future is now, so we better change, because this isn't what the future that we expected. One of the changes would be changing the future world part of the park so that it wouldn't feature just a bunch of concrete buildings with nice lush greenery and fountains around it, to something that we have today, something similar to that. And instead of the new technology being introduced to guests in direct kind of raw, just kind of people coming up and talking in just kind of weird themed ways, they were going to apply this technology into the attractions, which in my opinion is a better option than just saying, hey, look at, there's these new like really advanced animatronics or motionless ride vehicles, so we'll just show you them going around a stage. But no, you can actually experience these now, which I think is a really good idea. But this change seemed impossible after Rocket Rods and New Tomorrowland opened over in Disneyland in Anaheim, and also the flop of Euro Disneyland, which I would probably do a video on sometime. So just keep those likes and subscribes coming, and I will probably do a video on that soon. Disney used sponsorships to get these pavilions into fruition, but now they needed the sponsorships to keep the attractions and their pavilions up to date with the future's technology. Disney needed new sponsors. They needed to trash the old attractions to make way for new. They needed to invite old forgotten characters into the park so that they can be remembered. Disney was desperate for change in their Epcot theme park, and they would do anything necessary for this to happen, even do what I mentioned earlier, like literally probably like 10 seconds ago in this video. And this is what caused Epcot to have a very controversial period, which is still happening today. With Horizon's General Electric sponsorship gone, it closed down. With Horizon's sponsorship gone, General Electric, they had to make way for a new attraction, Mission Space. And the Amazing World of Motion had to be gotten rid of so they could make way for Test Track, which is Walt Disney World's version of Radiator Springs Racers for all you California people. Literally all of Future World's dark rides, which were just kind of very, hey, look at new technology, kind of teaching, were being chucked into the trash to make way for, hey, look at there's new technology, so we'll pump it into this attraction and give you a very thrilling e-ticket attraction instead of a classic dark ride. With the new millennium coming, Kodak, one of the pavilion sponsors, was telling Disney, hey, you need to change this pavilion, Imagination Pavilion, so it's up to standards and more imaginative and not just what it was originally. Disney didn't care that the guests wanted this beloved attraction to change. They realized that it needed to be changed. And because they realized this, the Disney company took probably the biggest L in their entire history, just in my opinion. There was a problem though. Kodak had been in financial trouble with the introduction of digital cameras. So with little time and money, Disney set off to refurb a once great attraction. Two ideas were these: attraction based on the movie Flubber, starring Robin Williams, and a dark ride through the imagination of a celebrity, which was probably thought of by the Imagineers who brought you Superstar Limo. Boo. And finally, the attraction got a new idea. The attraction were to take place in what was called the Imagination Institute. Your part of the new title for the attraction is what gave guests a hint into the jaw-dropping, eye-popping, why on earth would Disney do this attraction? When the doors finally reopened a year later, the Dreamfinder was nowhere to be found, neither was the theme song One Little Spark. And the only sign of Figment was the silhouette of him in constellations and stars, and his voice. And the turntable that I mentioned earlier in the video turned into the loading and unloading station, and the 12-minute, very fun, whimsical, educational ride was turned into a 5-minute, please get me out of this type of attraction. The attraction starred Eric Idle as Dr. Nigel Channing, who took guests on a tour of the Imagination Institute, because at the beginning of the ride, there was something called the Imaginator, which, when it scanned the guests, it basically said, you're not creative and you need some help getting creativity back, which, little clip of it right here.
As you can see, there's not much going on upstairs, imagination-wise, but that's just perfect for our experiments.
Can you tell them to wrap it for this room?
Yeah, was not good. So you were taken through the Imagination Institute to get your imagination kick-started again. And at the end of the attraction, you went back to the Imaginator and it scanned you again, and this time it was overflowing with all your ideas. And at the end of the attraction, Dr. Channing invited guests to go to the ImageWorks What If Labs. Guests were probably thinking, oh, the What If Labs, this is where this picture right here, Michael Jackson, was taken. Yeah, that makes sense. But no, that wasn't the same either. It was downgraded, and instead of being in the Great Glass Pyramid, which now are a DVC lounge, which is Disney Vacation Club Lounge, it was now put in an old, like where the old attraction used to be, and it was downgraded very much and wasn't as up to standards. But another cool thing though is that part of this is actually in part of the turntable from the previous attraction. So if you look closely, you can see part of where I think it's actually the Dreamfinder's vehicle would move along the track. So if you look in the right spot and stand on the right spot, you can say that you stood where the Dreamfinder and Figment used to live. That is not what I meant to say. You can technically say that you stood in the spot where the Dreamfinder and Figment used to reside. But on a positive note, Disney saw that this attraction was a big flop. So 2 years and 1 week later, they closed the doors and changed the attraction into Journey into Imagination with Figment. And the changes were questionable, but it is a major upgrade from what we previously had. It's nowhere near the original, which is probably one of the greatest Disney attractions ever. I've never ridden on it, but whatever. But so I will leave links down below so you can go check out what those now look like. The Journey into Your Imagination and Journey into Imagination with Figment. I'll leave those down below so you can go check those out. So leave your thoughts on what you think of these two attractions. Yeah, leave your thoughts down below. And also, I'm starting a podcast, so leave your thoughts down below. And also, if you have any ideas, what you think I should talk about in the podcast, you can also leave those down below because feedback is appreciated. And also, please like this video. It really helps me improve my channel, and also subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notified every new upload. And until next time, peace.